All right, so what we're going to take a look at here is just a quick overview of our InstaGate. Take a look at the firewall, threat monitor, and also our web threat pack to show you guys how we can protect your company. So threat monitor, real quick. This just shows malware attempts, intrusion attempts, just real basic information, just so you can come in here real quick and just get an idea of what's going on in the network. The system utilization is a real nice feature. If you have anything running slow on the network, maybe your web traffic, or maybe you come in here real quick, see our system utilization, see it's not us, and then help diagnose your network. Also, a lot of times you have to dig for your subscriptions. We just have that listed right here in the threat monitor, so you know what services you have with us, but also when they expire. So we'll hop in real quick to the web activity. Now, all the reporting we're going to show you here is right out of the box included in the service. So you're not going to have to pay for additional hardware or additional reporting with our service. This is what it comes with. So we did a real quick 24-hour snapshot here for you guys. So as you see here, we have a variety of graphs. It can be a bar graph, a pie graph, just a log, just showing you a lot of basic information here with your network. Now, if some of these graphs are more important than the others, just feel free to customize it. So drag and drop it. So that way you get your information a little bit quicker if you do have to come here. But one great thing with our service too is you can just auto-generate any of these reports. So you don't even really have to come in here. I know a lot of IT directors that just auto-generate their top users and just have it emailed to them every day. So if they do have any productivity issues, they already have it in their inbox and can just look at it. So as far as adding a report, just click Add Report, and here are all of various reports that most companies add. So we have them auto-created, but you can also customize any reports that you need. Choose where the query is coming from, the display, and then create it, and also auto-generate it. And you can also delete any of these reports too. So top block sites, if you want to delete that, just click Delete, and it's gone. So that's the customization there. A lot of services don't really have this, and this is one of our main things here at the service. So first off, ease of use with the reports. Also, another nice feature, just how to just add your policies. So let's go to policies here real quick. So the great thing with our service is most people use Active Directory, so we can sync all of your Active Directory users and groups and create policies. And you can also have multiple groups assigned to a policy, which some services don't allow. Normally you have to have a policy created for a specific group. With this, you can have multiple groups to the policy. So if you need to add or modify any of these, we'll add one. You name it whatever you need to. You can customize the schedule, so it can be by day or time. And then you have all the various categories here. So if you want to block them all, you can. And then whitelist things. You can just have specific sites whitelisted, or just block various categories they actually want to block. Now, as far as the categories go, a lot of companies out there, they are really concerned with the overhead on maintaining a database. So generally, they have less categories and less virus signatures in their database. With us, we're all about the quality of the security. So we maintain a very large database of categories. So in the unified threat management realm, we have the most URLs categorized. We have 450 million URLs categorized. But also, if something comes back uncategorized, we can proxy the cloud for a more recent categorization of that site. And if it's anything where you're curious about what sort of category a site falls under, so that way you can determine what categories to block for your web traffic, we can send you a link that you can input, and then we'll tell you what the category is. Now, as far as virus signatures go, we keep about 1.2 million virus signatures in our database, as opposed to our competitors are about 25,000. Some are lower than that, about 15,000. And the reason we do that is, a lot of hackers will release old signatures into the wild because they know companies are trying to keep that database down to keep their overhead costs down. So they know that 2 years later, they can re-release that signature and it'll get through. So with us, we always keep those old signatures. So your 0-hour protection, when something is rolled out, your chances of being protected are much higher with us. And that's the big thing too. Even though you might not block traffic, we're at least going to protect you. So any sites that have malware, any sort of intrusions on it, we'll be able to protect you on that. So here's what a block page looks like. We can block any sort of threats out there and then give you a block page. So that way it shows you whether the site was blocked due to your policies or if it's blocked due to a threat. Now, if you need to override it, you can click the override function, and you can give this to your end users on a group policy or to specific end users. So that way they can't override this block page. So if it's a school or just a higher, C-level executive that doesn't want to have his Facebook blocked or anything like that, you can go ahead and set that up. But another great thing too is we can also just block ads inside of pages too. So still go to the site, this is where you book your travel or anything like that, and then still be able to use it, but the ads will be blocked, so no adware. All right. Now, as far as just creating custom sites, you can create any custom policies that you need to. Let's do this real quick. So any custom policy, new policy, and then just go ahead and just whitelist any sites that you need to whitelist in here too. Or you can just create a policy specific to a specific end user that you see going to doglovers.com or LL Bean and just shopping or whatever it may be, and just go ahead and block that. Now, just going back to some of the reporting too, just touching on the ease of use again. Intrusion attempts. Some great reports here on the intrusion attempts. So, and if you need to drill down any of these, just go ahead and if we need to look at a specific IP address, and you can do this with any reports, the drill down. So, as I said earlier, the big thing with our service is the ease of use, how to generate a report, being able to have it just emailed to you. The fact that the reports are just way more detailed than anything else out there. You can do up to like 30 days reporting if you need to, and then you can rearrange any of these things. And also on top of that, it's pretty easy to set up. The proxy config file is housed on our hardware, so depending on your network setup, you don't have to do any sort of proxy settings on the browser or have a proxy config file on each machine. So the setup is just a lot easier too, especially with our setup wizard. Now, as far as your service goes, as I mentioned, it can act as firewall. You can also have a piece of hardware that sits in line with your current firewall. So if you want to use the web protection service, it can also be deployed in a virtual environment. So VMware, Citrix, Zen, Hyper-V, any of those VMware services out there. So VMware environments. Now let's take a look at the firewall real quick. Obviously, the VPN settings. So if there's anything you need to set up as far as advanced VPN, anything of that nature, pretty easy, a lot easier than some of our competitors out there. Also, the firewall policies. If you need to set anything up, you'll modify this one. Very easy to set up. And of course, any company that has dual internet connections, we can implement dual WAN internet failover. So you will have that capability also. Well, guys, that's pretty much all I had. Just wanted to just kind of drill on the ease of use, the quality of the reports and the ease of using reports, and it's just a set and forget solution. So thanks a lot for your time, guys, and that's all I had.
I do have a question. How can I set different settings for different users? Like, could I have different settings for my executives versus my regular employees?
Okay. Can you get more specific on the settings you're speaking of? So like the web protection?
Yes, for web protection, yeah. So like I wanted to say allow all for executives, but just have the rest of the staff and employees, filtered.
Yeah, so if you, put all of your employees on to the default setting, so if you had a default setting and then created, let's say create a new policy. So if we had the exec policy and we'll just unblock all this stuff. Just unblock that stuff and then apply. What the heck has happened there?
Paul, keep in mind this is our demo unit. We actually lock it down so customers can't make changes. Yeah, well, it wouldn't be much of a demo unit if anyone could log in and just change the LAN IP on it. So,
Darn.
Yeah, but in a perfect world, you would have just created an exec policy, absolutely, and then a matter of just assigning that to any group.
Okay. Well, you can pull up the policies though, or the groups, and then you hear the policies underneath here. So if we wanted to just assign productivity to, just uncheck these or check the new one that we created and add it in there. Hit apply. Yeah. So
can I also control those settings based on my user's Active Directory credentials?
Correct. So this would be the active user's name. So this would be their active user directory name, and you can also do the groups too. So if we were to go to groups, or that's where we were. So this will show all the groups, the end users in that group, and then you can also modify those groups in our service too. So if we want to remove this user out, you can also do that. So take it one step further than that.
Not only that, but and I'm going to interrupt just for a second, but Chris, if you're not aware, we actually added or increased our functionality with Active Directory. So now VPN, email, user admin, all of those things are fully Active Directory integrated. So you can add all those permissions, modify them, and have one centralized login for all your users.
Great.
Very nice. Any other questions?
Not that I can think of really off of the top of my head.